Then, in New Orleans East, another man was shot, sustaining multiple gunshot wounds. That happened in the 7,000 block of Lawrence Road. WWL TV's Dennis Waltering reports there were 3 more people shot after that.
After 1 a.m., a male was shot twice on Cobblestone Lane near West Bend Parkway. He was taken to the hospital by EMS. Meantime, police are also investigating a double shooting in the Bywater area. Both a male and a female were shot on Poland Street near that old abandoned naval base last night. We were notified about an hour after the shooting that the incident is now updated to a homicide.
NOPD still investigating a Friday night shooting that hospitalized 6 people near the Balcony Bar on Magazine Street. WWL TV's Sam Windstrom went to the scene.
6 people were wounded in the shooting, and stray bullets hit homes and businesses all over the neighborhood. Police sources tell us this is just the latest in a months-long fight between a group of criminals and a rival they've targeted before.
Here's Sean Ross with WWL Sports.
The Saints will have to look elsewhere to fill an empty spot at running back, despite Alvin Kamara facing 2 battery charges from a fight over the Pro Bowl weekend in Las Vegas. GM Mickey Loomis says the void is due to the draft not lining up with their big board.
We didn't have a pick in the 3rd and 4th round. There was a lot of running backs taken. There was a run of running backs taken, as I recall. It was about the 3rd round, right? But there's a magnet there, right? That's one of the blank ones.
Last week, it was announced that Kamara's hearing on those charges had been postponed to August 1st. LSU hopes to take the series against Georgia later today. The Bulldogs bested the Bayou Bengals at the plate in Game 2 as 3 dogs combined for 6 home runs to get the win 12-7. Game 3 later this afternoon at Alex Box. Tune in to WWL Radio at 12:30 for pregame coverage. First pitch is at 1 o'clock. Sean Ross, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Clouds will hang around through most of the day, so I expect mostly cloudy skies, and scattered showers and storms are possible through the morning and the afternoon hours, so just make sure you have that umbrella nearby just in case. Quick heavy downpours are possible, but again, they'll be brief. As we head into the afternoon, temperatures are expected to climb into the middle to upper 80s, so it is going to be hot and humid. Make sure you're staying hydrated while you're out and about.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakwinard Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. That's Terry Albert Nicaud, your weekend orders. All 1-870 or text us on the Oakland Park Talk and text line. Going until 10 o'clock. Good morning, Albert.
Hey, Doug. What's up, man?
Did you keep up with the draft the last 3 or 4 days?
I did.
You know,
I think you never pick a wide receiver in the first round. I know it's a need thing, and they traded up for him and everything else, but every college team's got 5 of them. And if you look at the star receivers for the Saints in years past, Marcus Colston, Drew Brees hitting, Michael Thomas, Drew Brees hitting right in the chest. Now, look, they were great receivers. They were big and physical. They could get open. If it's a 50-50 ball, they would usually get it. So take nothing away from that. But I think it's about who the quarterback is, with maybe the exception of like Odell Beckham, right? So he's making spectacular catches because Eli Manning's not hitting him in the chest. And if same thing, the Manning hand catch over the shoulder on top of the head, and the David Tyree catch on top of the head, it's those kind of plays that those receivers went out and made for him. And is this guy, is he one of those kind of guys? I don't know. He had a great game against Michigan, when they came back. But I think you save the offense. You save it for a quarterback that you want to get, or an offensive defensive lineman, maybe a stud cornerback. but I just don't think there's too many wide receivers out there that can run routes and catch balls. I don't know.
Well, what about
I like the offense.
What about trading up to get a wide receiver in the first round?
Exactly.
Losing the third.
Now all of a sudden, right? You might need that extra running back because who knows what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara. And so it'd have been nice to have some young, fresh legs in there, just to kind of take some snaps before. But once again, every team's got a bunch of running backs. There's a lot of guys out there that are fast, that can run, that can play hard. But it's all about opening a hole for them, right? So if you remember those years when the Denver Broncos were so good, and LaDainian Tomlinson was their running back, and he was running through 10-foot holes, and then he was hurt or whatever, and their backup running back, was getting as much yardage, and it's all about the offensive, defensive linemen. They make everybody better.
Well, my thought of the Saints draft is, on a personal level, and this has been the last few drafts, I'm scratching my head, but I definitely give them the benefit of the doubt because they're.
I agree.
Because it's counterintuitive to me to trade up 6 spots and give away your 3rd and 4th round pick, because the base of your team is made from the 3rd to 5th round. In other words, you got your Jari Evans, you got Nix, you got all the team that the rest of the team that was built with the Saints were done with the mid-round draft pick. So it is sort of counterintuitive. Now, obviously, the Saints have been very successful, and if they see an attribute that they see in a player, they'll overpay for it. I'm saying as far as draft capital is concerned. I would love to be on the other side of a trade with the Saints when they have their eye on a player, but they understand they have a specific need, and they obviously saw something Chris Olave that they obviously felt he was the best receiver in the draft, and they saw something in him that was different than any other receiver, and he was a game changer. But I just hate.
And they got the Randy Mosses out there. They've got those guys that are that are better than others. The Tyreek Hills who. And again, I don't know if this guy's really a burner or if he's a great, Lynn Swan, jump up and get the ball kind of receiver, or a little bit of both. But you look at the success of Kansas City. They had 4 guys that ran under a 4.45. So who do you guard? And of course they have Mahomes that can get the ball to him. But it really makes it tough on your defensive backs. Because if you've got a weak spot, they're gonna come after you, and it's just I hope they go find somebody that has some really good speed and can get open in a man coverage, because otherwise they're just going to blitz Jameis, go man up, and air him to beat him. Yeah. So that you got to get some separation.
I mean, I sort of like the teams that trade down and get the multiple picks, because I think from the 3rd round to the 6th round, it's hit and miss. And a lot of players abilities to translate to the NFL, and some don't. So if you got 8 or 9 draft picks, just the numbers are better. You have a better chance. But the Saints have a unique draft board. And, the Saints draft board is far different than Mel Kiper, Mike Detillier, or the draft experts,
gurus, yeah.
And now so they have a philosophy. Now, one thing they do, which is sort of inside football as far as their draft's concerned, when they do give away a lot of draft picks, and they only had 5 picks this time, you have more money in undrafted free agency for signing bonuses. So in other words, if you have a salary cap for rookies, and then if you do have 10 draft picks, you don't have money left over for undrafted free agents. And you look at all the undrafted free agents the Saints have signed in the future, starting from Pierre Thomas, and they've done a great job. Now, one thing that they did do, where I felt like they recouped a draft pick, is one of the undrafted free agents is Smoke Monday. He's a safety from Auburn. Now, Smoke was projected to be a third-round pick, and a lot of times if you're being drafted, you almost would rather be a free agent because you might have more leverage as far as maybe a signing bonus than if you're a seventh-round pick. And they signed Smoke. They guaranteed Smoke $120,000. So in one sense, I felt like the Saints received a draft pick back because Smoke was going to be a second or third. He was projected to be a second, third, or fourth round pick. I mean, a third, fourth, or fifth round pick. And if the Saints had multiple draft picks, they probably wouldn't have had the money to allocate to sign him. They did the same thing 3 years ago to Carl Grandison, because Carl Grandison would have been a mid-round, a high, maybe second, third, fourth round pick, and he had some problems off the field. But they did guarantee him, a guaranteed, I think, $70,000 signing bonus, which was a lot more than you would get as a seventh or sixth round pick. And they got him. So I think one of the philosophies is not readily available or readily ascertainable is the fact the Saints, when they do trade away their picks, they have more money for undrafted free agency. And these players who they did allocate, these higher signing bonuses or guaranteed money, ended up making the Saints team and in essence a draft pick. So that's one difference. But I looked at the under free agent list and I saw Smoke Monday and I said, that guy's, he was good. I'm not sure. They did sign a running back from Baylor, Abram Smith. I think was an above average running back at Baylor. Whether that translates into the NFL, we don't know. But like you said, Albert, if you have a line, a lot of average running backs look good.
Absolutely.
And
of course, they had needed, right? They had needed the offensive line. They lost a couple of players. So, they need that. They needed to pick to shore that up, right? And, those guys last forever, right? They good 10, 12 years in the league. So, barring any really major injuries or, if they're great, they go to other teams. You can't afford them anymore. But, it's a solid pick. It's a long-term pick just for future drafts. You don't have to necessarily keep loading up on a bunch of them every year.
Now the Saints also signed Rashid Shaheed. He's a wide receiver kick returner from Weber State. And he's in the mold of Deontay Hardy now. He changed his name. So, the Saints always seem like when they trade around their picks, it gives me heartburn. But then I'm like, okay, they're probably going to sign a few players who are projected as, mid-round draft picks in free agency because they have that extra money from not having so many draft picks. Like, for example, the Cleveland Browns will have a lot of extra money for undrafted free agents because they traded a lot of their picks away from Deshaun, which I'm seeing now. I think is a mistake. You look in hindsight.
Yeah, I thought it was before.
You did before, and I saw it up in the air.
It's too much money, and it's all guaranteed money. That's crazy.
Let me ask you a general question about the draft. One of the issues that players, that I guess teams have, is they get enamored with how the players look prior to the national anthem. And these measurables, and they look fantastic coming off the bus, but when the first whistle sounds, they're
one thing we
play like Tarzan. Play like Tarzan. No, look like Tarzan. Play like Jane.
Like Jane.
Yeah, we'll probably get in trouble for saying that now because we probably offended someone.
Tough.
So
tough. Anyway, the interesting part about this draft was this was somewhat of a a COVID draft. So you find a lot of players when they were kind of going through their bios, some of these guys are 23, 24 years old. He played his redshirt year, his last year, because they got that extra year. So I think it's a good thing for the NFL because you get a more mature player. You get a player that's played more college games at game speed. I always talk about that. And, I think it's going to be a better understanding of what type of player this player is because you've got more game film on them. You've got more, they've got more reps and they're more comfortable, looking at the lights and just playing on Saturdays and hopefully now Sundays.
Yeah, they now going back to Saints draft and Christian Garrick's going to be on at 10 o'clock to have a draft roundup. So if you're really interested, don't listen to us so much. Listen to Christian.
Yeah, I know.
No, but actually, if you look at the consensus, Chris Olave, they had to trade up a 3 to 4. That was pretty steep. Trevor Penning was a good pick. Is going to need a little work on pass protection, but he's a monster. I mean, he looked like a punter when he was signed by Northern Iowa, and now he blew up. Then they have
good old corn-fed boy.
That's right. Then they have Alante Taylor, who some people had him in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. I mean, he was a mid-round pick, but something that the Saints saw in him is probably his versatility. That he could play both cornerback and safety, but he wasn't necessarily there. And DeMarco Jackson was probably a 5th round pick. And their 6th round pick, George Jackson, was a guy who would have probably been there for free agency. But the Saints saw something and said, we're going to use our 6th round pick.
Right.
And I guess they wanted to nail him down. But part of it, I think they said, were high character guys. And they put a little emphasis on that. And I'd rather high character guys who play hard, who don't look so good before the national anthem, maybe. But we're Sunday morning warriors. That's all. That's just nothing but ballroom talk. But anyway, well, let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Jazz Fest is back, and WWL wants to send you there. Courtesy of Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. It's Miller time. See Stevie Nicks, the Black Crowes, Melissa Etheridge, Willie Nelson, Jimmy Buffett, Trombone Shorty, and more. Winning is easy. Go to WWL.com/contest and enter for your chance to win. But you gotta do it by midnight tonight. Win 2 free tickets to Jazz Fest, presented by Shell. Good luck and happy festing from WWL.
Hey, homeowners and business owners, there's so many lawyers and out-of-town companies trying to make money off your hurricane claim. Know the difference between lawyers and public adjusters. A public adjuster works with you to get the best outcome for your insurance claim. A lawyer is helpful if you have to litigate. But here's why you should use Clear Claim public adjusters. First, they're local and care about the impact Ida had on our state. Plus, the insurance companies learn to trust them because they deal with them all the time. When a Clear Claim adjuster makes recommendations and offers the insurance company a solution that makes sense, they normally respond more favorably than when they're being sued. Makes sense, right? Here's the other thing. Clear Claim will never end up costing you anything. You never pay out of pocket, and they'll make sure you end up with more money than you were going to, or they don't get paid. Call 504-500-3000. The insurance companies know them. You should too. Call for a free Clear Claim review. 504-500-3000.
How can you experience the ultimate in luxury while also getting the best possible value at the same place? Seems contradictory, right? Well, it happens every day at Diamonds Direct as we bring together the best of all worlds for our customers. We take pride in our showroom atmosphere being both lavish and relaxing. It's our selection, which is truly breathtaking and yet attainable.
Okay, we're going to eat fresh food here at the end, and then we will go live. No callers as yet.
What makes Diamonds Direct a unique and captivating place where we constantly challenge the norms and redefine shopping expectations. Regardless of whether you want a simple gold band or the most intricate custom design ring, we love making it happen. And whether you're in a t-shirt and shorts or a 3-piece suit, you'll be treated like family and we'll go out of our way to make you comfortable and happy. Come and experience a different kind of jeweler, where we're as practical as we are romantic. Diamonds Direct, Your love, our passion. Directions and store hours online at diamondsdirect.com.
Is your Hurricane Ida insurance company still playing games with you or giving you the runaround? Are you still dealing with multiple adjusters, unreturned phone calls, duplicate requests for information, and chronic underpayment, even non-payment? Are you emotionally exhausted? We can help. Call me, Doug Sunseri, longtime WWL radio host and attorney at Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm in Metairie and Mandeville at 504-837-1304. After so many years of you paying insurance premiums, we'll make sure your insurance company pays up.
When it comes to investing in your home's comfort, it's never just one thing. You want to make sure you get an air conditioning system that's reliable, affordable, energy efficient, backed by a strong warranty, and is installed by a dealer you can trust. That's why people who insist on the best choose Trane. Plus, right now, Trane is offering consumer rebates of up to $600 on qualifying systems. So what's not to love? Visit TraneSouth.com for details.
Okay, I have Leon on the phone from North Shore, and he has problems with a divorce.
May apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at freshly.com/terms.
I really want to eat better, but I don't have the time. What can I do? Go to freshly.com. Our nutritionist-approved meals are prepared by skilled chefs and delivered to you fresh every week. I don't have time to prep and cook. Freshly's meals are already cooked. Just put them in the microwave for 3 minutes and you've got a hot, gourmet, delicious, nutritious meal. And now, get $125 off your first 5 orders when you text BITE to 64,000. With Freshly, there's no worry about grocery shopping, ingredients...
Okay, we're going live after this.
...spent prepping and cooking. Savor Freshly's variety. From comfort food classics that are carb-smart and gluten-free to dairy-free options, plant-based meals, and more. And you can adjust meals and deliveries based on your schedule. A healthy, delicious meal in 3 minutes? I have time for that. That's Freshly.
And now get $125 off your first 5 orders when you text BITE to 64,000. That's BITE to 64,000. That's BITE to 64,000.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Leon from the North Shore, the land of no potholes, where you have city services, you have the traffic lights work, DAs prosecute criminals, and the mayors don't hide under their desk when it comes to crime. What you got, Leon?
Thank you, Doug. And he go, me and my wife separated, okay? And she said she could rack up more debt on me that I can handle. I remember back in the day, you used to put an ad in the paper saying that you're not responsible for any debt that's being made by that person. Is that still a legal thing to do that can protect me?
Well, you're not responsible for another person's debt unless you sign a guarantee that you are, a written guarantee. So,
no guarantee, huh?
No, if you didn't a surety or guarantee, you're not responsible for it. And if you didn't sign a document saying you're responsible for someone else's debt, you're not. Now, if you're married and you're in community,
yeah, we married, and she's gonna put debt all in my name.
No,
you know.
Are you still married?
Yeah, we're still married. We just separated a couple weeks ago.
You're in community. A newspaper, I'll put it this way, a newspaper article, I'm going to use Bucktown language, ain't going to help you. Okay, it's not going to help you. What you either have to do is this. You either need to do a prenuptial agreement, a post-separation agreement, where you file a proceeding with the court saying that you're not operating in the community, but you're operating as, 2 separate estates, meaning if she incurs debt, it's hers. If you incur debt, it's yours. And if you get earnings, it's yours. But you'd have to file a proceeding with the court to separate your property.
Do I need a lawyer to do that, or can I go do it by myself?
Well, you need a lawyer for that. A lot of lawyers have a hard time.
Okay. That's what I needed to know.
But you do a post-separation, post-family separation agreement. It's like a community property settlement after you get married while you're still married.
Right. Well, I appreciate
but
it
here's
very
the
much.
deal. Here's the deal. Both parties have to agree to
Uh-huh.
it. Both parties have to agree to it. If you're married, in other words, if you do a post-separation, a post-marriage property agreement, both parties have to agree to it.
Right.
Now, the only way you can stop that involuntarily is to file a petition for divorce and then the eventual community property settlement, because the date of the filing of the petition for divorce will be the date your community ends if you do get an eventual divorce. So the post-separation or post-marriage separation agreement would have to be voluntary by both parties.
Right. Well, I got one more question, if you don't mind.
No, that's why we're here.
I bought my house before we got married.
Yes.
Okay. And then when we was married, I bought the property that the house is on, because I was renting the property. Okay. So
Well, you
when
say
we
you
do
bought
the
it.
house,
You bought the property before you were married, and you were
we
renting
bought the property while we was married, but I bought the house that's on it before we got married.
I got you.
So she gets part of the house too, or do I get the house and we just split the land up, or what do I do there?
Did your house have a mortgage?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Did your I guess it was like a mobile home that you moved onto the land?
Yeah.
Did it have a mortgage?
No, it's been paid off.
Okay,
Both of them paid off. The property and the trailer.
The property would be was it paid off before you got married?
The property was paid off when we got married.
What about the trailer?
It was paid off before we got married.
Okay, that's what I wanted to find out. Basically, the mobile home would be yours. The land would be community property.
Right. So I'd have to probably settle up with her on the property, and it would be mine, the property and the mobile home.
Right. Now, if you had to pay a mortgage on the mobile home, which is separate property, during your marriage, then your soon-to-be ex-wife would be entitled to reimbursement of the mortgage, half of the mortgage payments, because you used a community asset. You used community money to pay service the debt on a separate asset. So in that situation, but your situation, it's easy. Mobile home's yours. The land's community property. You got to settle up for that.
Right. I do appreciate y'all. I listen to y'all every Sunday, and y'all have a blessed weekend. Sorry we got this little bit of rain here for the Jazz Fest.
Well, I'm in Mandeville, and it's thundering here.
Yeah.
But I hear Jazz Fest may be okay. So a lot of rain's been
okay.
I hope so.
Yeah, because I just come from Covington Country Club.
Yeah.
Playing golf out there. It's raining.
yeah, we're right around the corner from you. We're broadcasting right around the corner from you there. All right, my man, Leon. You have a good day.
All right.
Thanks. Albert.
Have a blessed one, both of y'all.
Amen.
Okay.
Thanks much. Albert, did you go to Jazz Fest Friday?
I didn't hear. I've just been really too busy at work to take off and had stuff to do on the weekends. Had I gone, it would have been yesterday because I was available yesterday to go. But I normally love going. I really enjoy it. To me, it's the most unique New Orleans experience. I think even more so than Mardi Gras. It brings out, all the New Orleans characters from the nooks and crannies of all the little spots in Orleans Parish, and some of the wannabes, that they play hippie for the weekend, and but it's a good time. The music's great. I mean, where can you go spend $80 or $90 and hear 20, 30 different bands in a day? It's just, it's a great time, great experience. It's a good thing. I'm so glad it's back.
I saw the painting this year. That was a pretty cool painting, very colorful. I don't know the Jazz Fest poster or painting or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there is a painting. So
I have to make a confession. I've never been to Jazz Fest. Can't believe it.
Really?
Actually, the first Jazz Fest, who's a client of yours across the street, he owned horses. And he grabbed me on a Saturday morning like he used to, and we'd ride. He would extol to me things that were very important in life as to when to take the dog when they were on the road and how to read a racing form. And we went and saw his horses, and we saw a big crowd in the distance. And I said, "What's going on?" He said, "There's something new. It's called Jazz Fest." And
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the only time I've been there. So Jazz Fest was always during exams when we were in law school.
Oh yeah, college and law school, right?
It was always tough. But all right. Well, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Jazz Fest is back, and WWL wants to send you there, courtesy of Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor.
I got a gentleman on whose name is June. He's from Gentilly, and he has a question about construction.
Willie Nelson, Jimmy Buffett, Trombone Shorty, and more. Winning is easy. Go to WWL.com/contest and enter for your chance to win. But you gotta do it by midnight tonight. Win 2 free tickets to Jazz Fest, presented by Shell. Good luck and happy festing from WWL.
BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, unleashes the spirit of Las Vegas with BetMGM rewards. Every time you make a wager at BetMGM, you can earn BetMGM reward points that you can redeem for online bonus credits, like free bets and risk-free tokens. Planning a trip to Vegas? You can also convert your BetMGM.
Okay, last spot is about Samuel Clemens
reward points that you can use
and
for dining,
Fools.
shows, and hotel rooms at over 20 MGM resort properties located on the Las Vegas Strip and nationwide. BetMGM Rewards is sports betting's premier loyalty program, featuring exclusive offers, incredible experiences, and valuable perks when you wager on the BetMGM app. Sign up with BetMGM to get an even bigger piece of the action with BetMGM Rewards. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Louisiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in partnership with Sam's Town Shreveport Casino.
Have you noticed the first 4 letters of the word paint is pain? I don't like pain, so I looked for a pain reliever, and for me, that was Rhino Shield. All the things I dislike about painting disappeared. The guidance and assistance provided by the experts at Rhino Shield was second to none. The attention to detail was incredible, and as such, the result was perfect. So do what I did and call for a free estimate, 504-407-2222, 407-2222, or visit rhinoshieldmidsouth.com. Listen, folks, here's the bottom line with Rhino Shield. You'll never have to paint your home or business again. Guaranteed. Rhino Shield is perfect for Gulf climate, resists mold and fading, and it's more affordable than you think. So call now for your free estimate, 504-407-2222, 407-2222, or visit rhinoshieldmidsouth.com.
Hi, this is Jackie from Earth Savers, and we know how to take care of moms. Whether it's a stress-melting massage, a restoring facial, or a gift card for any dollar amount, she'll be pampered from the moment she arrives. Refreshing spa water, relaxing music, and custom aromatherapy set the tone for the perfect spa day. At Earth Savers, we take spa services to a whole new level. Pamper Mom with an Earth Savers gift card. Earth Savers, Uptown, Lakeside, Mandeville, and earthsaversonline.com.
Hey, y'all. Spring is here, and you're ready to celebrate. Hit the road and find a festival. April 28th through May 1st, Thibodaux Fireman's Fair. April 28th through May 8th, Louisiana Pirate Festival in Lake Charles. April 29th and 30th, Choctaw Apache Tribe Powwow in Sabine. April 30th through May 1st, Kite Fest Louisiana in Port Allen. So make your plans to laissez le bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nutgesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. Pests in Louisiana are as unique as our state, and you need experience to keep the pests away. Termites are responsible for more than $1 billion of damage in Louisiana alone. J&J Exterminating has over 55 years experience in keeping your home safe. Trust J&J Exterminating to shield your home, business, and property 365 days a year with 100% satisfaction guarantee.
J&J Exterminating.
At Community Coffee, we didn't set out just to make great coffee. We set out to make something that would bring out the best in people, morning, noon, and night. And who wouldn't want to share a cup of that? Community Coffee. Find us at your local grocery or visit us at communitycoffee.com.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshares. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, well, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sounds crazy, right? Well, the crazy thing is, this never ends.
Okay, second caller is Judy from Metairie, and the subject is workman's comp.
We can't cancel your timeshare. You'll pay nothing.
Were you lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? Get the facts about timeshare cancellation. Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Some people bring joy wherever they go. Some whenever they go. Mark Twain found humor all around. Never argue with a...
Here we go.
Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. Humor. Pass it on from passiton.com.
All things legal with Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. You know, before we go to calls, Albert, you're talking about Jazz Fest. They had 100 and some odd thousand people in Baton Rouge seeing Garth Brooks at the same time.
Absolutely.
So.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
You know, if get things under control in the state and if it's governed properly, a lot happening in the state that's really, really good.
Absolutely.
Great way to spend your life if you get around ducking crime. So let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to June in Gentility. He's calling about a construction company, and you calling the right man. You got Albert, who's the guru of construction. What you got, June?
Good morning. Had my property repaired after Ida with a contract. I won't say the company, but it didn't go, I guess, quite as planned. And we're going to pursue, I think it's, arbitration or something of that nature.
Is it arbitration or mediation?
Arbitration.
Okay.
Yeah. And the question that I was asking is, if I sue this gentleman and get a claim against his company, can he open up as another company or as the same company? Because we've had words before, and he's like, well, if I'm sued, I could just open up under another name or something of that nature. And I'm just curious, is that even possible?
So there are a lot of different things swimming around in that question. One of them is this company licensed by the Louisiana State Licensing Board of Contractors? It is. Okay, so if that's the case, and this person is the qualifying party for that company, right? He's the one that basically has to answer on behalf of the company to the board. And if you bring an action with the board saying that, hey, look, this guy did some things that violated his license or the company's license, they will not allow him to just bankrupt the company and flip it, or just not pay the claim and flip it. That will go against him when he makes a reapplication for a new license with the state. So that changes things a little bit. There are a lot of other factors that may allow you to go after this contractor personally. A lot of people are unaware of this, but there is a criminal statute that basically states if you're not licensed or if you hire unlicensed contractors, subcontractors, or if you misrepresent something to the parish or officials regarding a permit, there's a long list of things. If you don't show up on a job for more than 45 days, it's considered to be residential contractor fraud. And if an individual that is part of a company commits a criminal act, that falls outside of their protections for their LLC or for their corporation. And so then you can get a judgment against that person personally if that person violated any of those provisions of the criminal residential contractor fraud statute. So there are ways to kind of dissect it, but you just have to look at the facts and see what's there. How much are we talking about? What is the amount of dispute?
It's not that much. It's like $7,500. What it was we were doing a roof, and he did the roof. He did the roof. I saw him do the roof. Oh, should I say not saw him, but I came and paid him, and the roof was done. The dispute is he was supposed to change some plywood, about 15, maybe 20 sheets of plywood, or they call it decking or whatever, and he only changed like 3 or 4. I'm sorry.
Okay. And what did the contract call for? Did the contract say he was going to change 15 sheets, or did it say we're going to change it as we see fit once we get up there?
That's kind of like what it says. But he verbally said that he thought before he started, he thought that it all needed to be changed out. And when he didn't change it, I guess that's where the disparity came into play. Because I was like, I thought you told me that it was, it all made. He never said it was guaranteed. I will say that. He never said, I will change 20, 30 sheets. It never came out like that, but he made me believe in the beginning that, yeah, most of this plywood may need to be changed out. So I did the contract. He signed it. I mean, I signed it, and it's not a huge deal, but he's like, well, if I get a judgment against me, I'll just open up under another name. And I was just curious, can you do that? I mean, if you shut your company down or whatever.
I think that the contractors licensing board will have something to say about it. And then, he doesn't want to have to jeopardize his license for that small amount of money and then worry about having to refile and redo all that stuff,
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, I surely appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks for the call, June. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Judy. You've got a question regarding workers' comp. Hey, Judy, you know all things legal.
Hey, good morning. This is a question about we are a small burglar and fire alarm company, and we want to hire a guy on a 1099 basis. We have occasionally projects that we need some extra help. And I'm wondering, do I have to get the workman's comp, or we were told that there's a document that you can get that's called a waiver of liability, where he can come to work for us with the understanding that if he gets hurt, we're not liable. Is that true, or give me your thoughts on this?
So here's how that plays out. There is a laundry list of fact questions, and one of the tests, right, is do you have a written contract with the person? Is it an individual, or does the person have a company? Do you pay that person by the hour, or do you pay him by the job? Can that person work for other companies? And so all of these little factors, one of the biggest factor is how much direction and control you have over that person's work? Or do you say, hey, look, I just need you to go to this building and do X, Y, Z? The means and methods of how you do it, as long as they're, in compliance with building standards, I'm not going to direct you and tell you how to do it. That brings you further away from an employment situation. So you want to kind of, if this person has a company or forms an LLC, you can hire that LLC, and then you won't be responsible for that individual that runs the LLC. Now, if that person has employees, and one of that person, in other words, he forms the LLC and he gets 2 or 3 employees to help him, then you may be liable for those employees. And so if that person gets employees, you need to make sure that he also has workers' comp. He can waive it as a owner of the company over a certain percentage of ownership. So if he owns this company, he can waive workers' comp and not be covered for it. But if he has employees, he's got to cover those employees. And if he doesn't, it's going to fall on you.
We'll take a break right after this.
Okay, this is just one individual. He doesn't have a company. I don't think he's even got an LLC at this point. But
okay.
Does he do work for anybody else?
He does, but not in the burglar and fire alarm business. He does other kinds of work for other people.
So when you hire this person, do you hire them by the hour? Hey, come on, you're going to work however many hours it takes you. We're going to pay you by the hour. Or is it, give me a price to do X?
I could do it either way. That's what we're trying to say.
You'd want to do it by the job, because that, there's actually a presumption in workers' comp that an hourly payment, whether you call it an independent contractor or an employee, but if you're paying that person by the hour, there's a presumption that they're an employee. Now, you can overcome the presumption by certain other factors. But, and again, every time you do a job, I would have a separate contract. And in the contract, you want to put some language in there that, he is an independent contractor. He carries his own workers' compensation. He's responsible for any of that stuff, and then pay him by the job. He's not employed full time. Put some language in there that he will have the control of the means and methods of how the work is done. To just add those factors that bring you further away from an employment relationship.
You're going to have a lot of good window dressing in case there becomes an issue. So that, it's never an issue until it's an issue. But you'll need good window dressing to show that he was an independent contractor. Because the tendency is to put him under the contractor or the statutory employer. So you're going to need some insulation there, so to speak.
Okay, I know he doesn't carry workers' comp.
Yeah, well, that would, if he was just working for you and you were paying him by the hour, either you'd have to get workers' comp or he. For his own company.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And
I think we got.
I'd go to the IRS website also, where it says independent contractor. They have a bunch of factors that you could look at to determine, incorporate that into any agreements with him, so that you can demonstrate he's an independent contractor. Judy, that's a great question. Thanks for the call. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Find podcasts for your passions on Odyssey.
Like the documentary series Love Thy Neighbor about the 1991 Crown Heights riots.
It was an accident which other people used as an excuse.
Okay, it's going to be about 2 minutes before the top of the hour news break. Maybe just a little shade over that.
Podcast movie thriller Ghost Rider.
Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott.
Maybe it's not a whodunit. If we know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
Find all the podcasts that matter to you in a universe of audio.
Odyssey.
Everybody has a story, a dream. We don't always know where it'll take us, even against all odds.
I was born small. They said I was weak, that I wouldn't make it. Said my heart wasn't strong enough. But through the years, I've shown them what heart looks like. Again and again. I've had help. Mom got me the right care and the right doctors from the start with Blue Cross coverage.
When health issues surface, it's good to know you can rely on the strength of the cross and protection of the shield. Your card opens the door to a large network of quality providers to care for you.
Now, I'm the one breaking hearts. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them.
With the right card, the right care, you can get back to your story and to making your dream a reality. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana.
Hey, New Orleans. Join New Orleans & Company as we celebrate National Travel and Tourism Week, May 1st through May 7th. It's an annual tradition that recognizes the positive impact travel has on our local businesses, jobs, our quality of life, and much more. We're proud to lead an industry that employs more than 60,000 New Orleanians who welcome millions of visitors here every year and help drive our economy. Travel matters. For more information, visit neworleans.com/NTTW.
If you have Medicare, you deserve the best care and coverage available. But how do you know if your Medicare plan offers the quality you need? Check their Medicare star rating. The higher the stars, the better the quality. And People's Health has earned Medicare's highest rating, 5 out of 5 stars for 2022. Don't take my word for it. Take Medicare's. To learn more about People's Health Medicare plans, call 1-855-821-2666 or visit peopleshealth.com.
Save 20 to 50% now at Oakland Heart Jewelers Spring Sale. Shop Mother's Day, graduations, anniversaries, birthdays, and just because. Oakland Heart Jewelers Spring Sale, now through Saturday, May 7th on Metairie Road.
Where do you go when you want to sell your gold or silver coins?
CausewayCoinCo.com. Brandon Hawley here. Premium Windows. Professionally measured, professionally installed. ReliefWindows.com.
Rejuvenate your mornings with Rejuvame.
Okay, we go after Babbel.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel. Me llamo Sean.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. That's Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. If you need to talk to us off air or during the week, you can call us at a law firm at 504-837-1304, 504-837-1304, or on the North Shore, 985-624-9697. We only got about a minute before we go to the national news, local news. We're on until 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, we'll go to, a draft recap with Christian Garrick and Steve Geller. They're going to do a draft recap from 10 to 12:30, and LSU baseball pregame at 12:30, and LSU baseball at 1. Also, Albert, want to congratulate Jameis Winston. He graduated from college at Florida State this weekend.
Yes, he did. Good for him. 7 years later.
That's a great example, and that's very hopeful. I think he sees the value of education and sees the value of what's next. And congratulations, Jameis. And I think that'll be very, very, this is very commendable because,
Absolutely.
Financially,
Absolutely.
he doesn't maybe necessarily need to do it. I would have advice for any football player who's going to play in the NFL, major in accounting. So you understand where your money's going. So you won't.
Yeah.
It's better to never have had it than to have had it and lost it. So
exactly.
So but congratulations. That's fantastic, and we got high hopes. Just think about when the maturity difference you had between the time you were 21 and 28 and 29. All the emotional growth. And, as far
18 and 21.
Right. And you think about that as far as, as him as a quarterback. He came into the league at 21 and, 7 years is a lifetime as far as emotional maturity. And hopefully, if he gets there, he could be a serviceable quarterback. It's interesting. Before we break, we got about 30 seconds. The Saints approaching the draft as if they believe that they have a chance to win a conference championship this year, which is interesting. So,
yeah.
All right, let's go to break. National News, local news. See you in about 10.
The News Talk Sports Powerhouse. WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Christopher Cruz in Washington. Breaking news. The United Nations has confirmed that an operation to evacuate more people from the huge steel mill in the devastated Ukrainian port city of Mariupol is now underway. The effort to bring them out is happening in collaboration with the International Committee for the Red Cross and in coordination with both Ukrainian and Russian officials. As many as 1,000 civilians are believed to be hunkered down, with an estimated 2,000 Ukrainian fighters beneath the plant, which is the only part of the port city that has not been captured by Russian troops. Correspondent Chris Livesay is in Ukraine. He reports on an earlier evacuation of 20 civilians.
Local media says those who were rescued were all injured women and children. Now, many more injured soldiers remain trapped inside, some suffering from gangrene and amputations without enough bandages to go around.
The head of the U.S. Agency for International Development, Samantha Power, on CBS's Face the Nation, said Russian President Vladimir Putin should let them all leave.
People die of dehydration and starvation who could easily get in vehicles and depart the town, posing no threat to the Russian Federation, and yet he refuses to allow that.
You can see the full interview on today's Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan.
Thank you for your fight for freedom.
That's House Speaker Nancy Pelosi speaking with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the capital today, Kyiv today. Pelosi and 6 other members of the House travel to Ukraine to show their support for the besieged nation. The coronavirus is not vanquished. CBS's Tom Foti.
COVID-19 is now blamed for close to 995,000 deaths in this country, and yet again there's an increase in the number of reported infections. Not a huge increase, and cases are usually not as dangerous as they used to be. But health officials and experts do insist the pandemic is not over.
We know that COVID is still with us, but we're in a far better place, and we urge every American to do everything we've learned that helps so we can get in an even better place. So get that boost.
Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra.
There are tough days, weeks, and months ahead for the people of Andover, Kansas. They're putting their lives back together after an EF3 tornado ripped through the town Friday, leaving many residents homeless. Janelle Farney and her husband survived after the tornado collapsed the walls of their house, took out their covered deck, and ripped off their roof.
This is hard to look at, but it's just stuff. I count myself lucky.
Italy and Greece have relaxed some COVID-19 restrictions. Greece's Civil Aviation Authority announced today it's lifting all COVID-19 rules for international and domestic flights, except for the wearing of face masks during flights and at airports. This is CBS News.
60 Minutes travels into Odessa with the World Food Program as Russia extends its attack on Ukraine.
Were you here when this happened?
New 60 Minutes tonight on CBS.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
It turns out there is a way to limit how much of your personal data is being tracked and sold.
These days, trying to maintain your privacy is a full-time job, but there are things you can do to protect yourself using just a few taps or clicks.
Harness the settings that tech companies already offer you to put limits on their data harvesting empires.
Thomas Germain with Consumer Report suggests looking at your settings in 3 important places.
One is your social media profiles, your Google account, and the controls that are built into your cell phone. There's things you can go into and adjust that'll put some limits on what companies do with your information.
Stephen Kaufman, CBS News.
A woman in
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen on your official weather station, WWL. Rain most likely today north of the lake.
And it'll be rather warm with temperatures climbing into the middle to upper 80s. Now, scattered showers and storms are in the forecast.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Jazz Fest, Day 3 at the fairgrounds. Red Hot Chili Peppers headlining the entertainment this evening. The fest will take a few days off and return on Thursday with Luke Combs leading the way that night. Friday features Black Crowes with Stevie Nicks topping the bill Saturday and Jimmy Buffett on Sunday before Trombone Shorty closes things out on the main stage on the final day of Jazz Fest. It was a violent Saturday night in New Orleans. A man was murdered in the 3400 block of Garden Oaks Drive in Algiers around 5 p.m. Then, in New Orleans East, another man was shot, sustaining multiple gunshot wounds. That happened in the 7000 block of Lawrence Road. WWL TV's Dennis Waltering reports there were 3 more people shot after that.
After 1 a.m., a male was shot twice on Cobblestone Lane near West Bend Parkway. He was taken to the hospital by EMS. Meantime, police are also investigating a double shooting in the Bywater area. Both a male and a female were shot on Poland Street near that old abandoned naval base last night. We were notified about an hour after the shooting that the incident is now updated to a homicide.
NOPD still investigating a Friday night shooting that hospitalized 6 people near the Balcony Bar on Magazine Street. WWL TV's Sam Windstrom went to the scene.
6 people were wounded in the shooting, and stray bullets hit homes and businesses all over the neighborhood. Police sources tell us this is just the latest in a months-long fight between a group of criminals and a rival they've targeted before. Our sources tell us that 23-year-old Nairobi Davis was their intended target. Now, Davis was arrested as a suspect in a double homicide back in October, but was later released and cleared of those charges. However, while he was out on bail, another attempt was made on his life. Davis was the target of a deadly shooting in Algiers. The shooters in that case missed their intended target, instead killing 7-year-old Dylan Burton on the day after Christmas.
Here's Sean Ross with WWL Sports.
The Saints will have to look elsewhere to fill an empty spot at running back, despite Alvin Kamara facing 2 battery charges from a fight over the Pro Bowl weekend in Las Vegas. GM Mickey Loomis says the void is due to the draft not lining up with their big board.
We didn't have a pick in the 3rd and 4th round. There was a lot of running backs taken. There was a run of running backs taken, as I recall. It was about the 3rd round, right? But there's a magnet there, right? That's one of the blank ones.
Last week, it was announced that Kamara's hearing on those charges had been postponed to August 1st. LSU hopes to take the series against Georgia later today. The Bulldogs bested the Bayou Bengals at the plate in Game 2 as 3 dogs combined for 6 home runs to get the win 12-7. Game 3 later this afternoon at Alex Box. Tune in to WWL Radio at 12:30 for pregame coverage. First pitch is at 1 o'clock. Sean Ross, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Clouds will hang around through most of the day, so I expect mostly cloudy skies, and scattered showers and storms are possible through the morning and the afternoon hours, so just make sure you have that umbrella nearby just in case. Quick heavy downpours are possible, but again, they'll be brief. As we head into the afternoon, temperatures are expected to climb into the middle to upper 80s, so it is going to be hot and humid. Make sure you're staying hydrated while you're out and about. As we head into your Monday, temperatures will be in the middle 80s as we head into the afternoon under mostly sunny conditions, and it'll be breezy and dry. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Long forecast 2.
And I'm Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakwinard Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, Here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. All things legal. We'll be on till 10 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, we're going to have a recap on Jazz Fest with Christian Garrick, Steve Geller, and Jeff Nowak. They'll be on from 10 to 12:30, and then LSU Georgia pregame 12:30. First pitch at 1. Albert, I was thinking about this draft before we get back to law. The Saints are approaching the draft as if they're a contender for the Super Bowl next year. I mean, this is the type of draft where you trade, mortgage your future, which they have, because they get
in previous years, yeah.
No, they did this year to get that extra number 1 pick. They gave up a second round in 2 years. They gave up their first round next year. It's just interesting. That's how they view them. The Saints view themselves in a reloading mold where they just need a few missing parts to get as a Super Bowl contender, as opposed to a rebuild, which you would probably do something like the Jets have, where they have like all the Ravens, where you have 10, 12, 13 draft picks. So it's just interesting. That's how they view themselves, and we'll see as they work. They seem to mortgage
something. Jameis Winston, because it seems like a lot's going to be riding on his shoulders. We're again a couple of good receivers away from being really good on the offensive side of the ball, and then defensively, if Jameis can perform, and then defensively, we're a position or two that were lost through free agency that we can fill. But I mean, we had a probably one of the best defenses at least in the NFC South, maybe in the NFC. I mean, we were top. So, we might just be a few positions away, and I think it's all going to depend on what Jameis can do. I mean, we were the 32nd passing offense in the NFL last year. So, a lot of that had to do with the offensive line. If you recall, they were, jumbling around and picking up guys that hadn't played in years and just trying to fill positions for a few games. Ian Book and those fellas that didn't have time to throw the ball. And, Taysom Hill didn't really get a chance to show what he can do, with a solid offensive line that's going to give him a little time. And, granted, there are many occasions where you've got to improvise and you've got to, coverage will break down, or the offensive blocking scheme will break down, and you've got to do some things. And, but I just, maybe they're right. Maybe they can, get in here and win a bunch of games and make the playoffs, and who knows. But again, Jameis he can't just manage the game. He's got to step up and be an above average quarterback this year for that to happen.
Yeah. And, I guess they sort of have a philosophy. We'll worry about next year. Seems like they keep, having the credit card payment due the following year. They're consolidating their loans and saying you got to pay it in the future. So just an interesting philosophy. And,
before we move on to Doug, I do want to just give a real good shout out to the Pelicans. They were so much fun to watch this. I have a lot of friends that have kind of sworn off the NBA. They're tired of the LeBron mentality, the Anthony Davis mentality. A lot of these guys that are just prima donnas and think the world owes them a living, and jump into the political arena. Just go play basketball, right?
Shut up and dribble.
I always tell them, look, this is the Pelicans. The Pelicans are everything that's right about professional basketball. They've got a great coach. He's a humble man. He's a hard worker. He's a spiritual guy. The players that he ended up bringing to the team are all good quality, locker room people. They're men of character. They play hard. They everybody to a man talks about that locker room and how great of an experience it is. Players that have come from other teams are like, I've been around the league. I've never seen anything like this. Just the closeness of the players. their ability to, or their willingness to have each other's back, to cheer for the other guy, even though he's taking my minutes. I'm going to jump and scream and yell on the bench because I want my friend to do well. I want my team to do well. It's what's his name came back to. Huh?
It's refreshing.
Yeah,
very refreshing.
It's refreshing, and like I'm going to support these guys regardless of the record. But there's a lot of people thinking that they're going to be in the top 5, teams next year with Zion back, with their youth. Brandon Ingram finally was able to show his abilities, that he's the next level guy. The last game, I think they played him too many minutes, and so I think he just kind of wore out at the end. But I'm hopeful, and if Zion can fit in and can fit into the locker room, that the mentality that they have there, they're going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Well,
and win a lot.
I think at the beginning of this year, the Pelicans were in danger in New Orleans. I think, or it was a concern, and I think this team has won back the hearts of New Orleans. The fans, and it just goes to show you when I would call American exceptionalism becomes the focus of the team. Teamwork, hard work, being humble, pulling for each other, rather than the political division that was injected in the NBA 2 years ago. How we will embrace this team, or just professional sports in general. And that, hey, this is professional sports is, it is the a symbol of American exceptionalism. There's a winners and there's losers, and there's hard work, there's teamwork,
right?
And when you injected all this other stuff in there that doesn't belong, and most people believe it doesn't belong in sports and in entertainment. We get it from Monday through Friday during the work week. This is what could happen, and I think that's part of it. You just have a very, very good man who transcends. He doesn't need to make a political statement to be relevant. You got a team that's that plays together, plays hard. They're for each other, and they're everything good about what professional sports is about, like you said. And I think the city of New Orleans has fallen in love with them again, and we have a great future. Zion saw the following. He's a young kid, and he's like, gee, he went from making demands of the team, saying, I think I'd like to be a part of this, which is, that transcended also. And, he's saying, oh, I'll sign a $181 million extension now. And who wouldn't, especially if he only played 85 games in the last 3 years. So,
exactly.
You're right. And congratulations to Willie Green and the whole Pelicans organization. They seem to hit it. So congrats. Also, I guess we wanted to sort of switch gears a little bit. They had a jury verdict that came out of Lake Charles just recently against Scottsdale Insurance Company on a Hurricane Ida claim. And it was the first trial, not Hurricane Ida, Hurricane Laura. And it was the first trial from Hurricane Laura, which was about a year and 8 months ago. It was a business, 15,000 square foot business that got a judgment of $1.7 million for bad faith, and basically stating that the insurance company slow walked the claim, all the things we've been talking about for the last 8 months, but they really got popped very, very hard. And didn't pay the claim, didn't pay undisputed payments. They didn't really get the money out that was undisputed, which was the gist of the lawsuit soon enough. How do you think a judgment like that will impact the insurance company's perspective on handling Hurricane Ida claims?
When I did insurance work years ago, the company that I worked for, they had a philosophy, and sometimes they honestly gave away too much money, right? But the philosophy was, hey, look, even if it's a little questionable, let's put money on the table now, Let's get rid of this claim. Let's write it off the books. And then it's over. It's closed. It's finalized. And, their philosophy was that claims don't get any better the longer they're around. And I guess a property damage claim is a little bit different because, there's this aspect of winning through attrition, right? We're just going to wear you out and not pay your claim and drag you along, and you're tired of living in your grandmother's house while your house just sits there waiting for the insurance company to pay you. So there's some of that game being played, but at the same time, the damages continue to accumulate, and that story, once it's told, if it ever gets told, is going to resonate with a lot of people sitting on that jury, and even a lot of judges if it's just a judge trial. And they're gonna find a way to find penalties, to find bad faith, to award attorney's fees and everything else that has to do with the way the insurance company's been acting. And I mean, it's to say, oh look, we're not gonna cover that because we think that was a maintenance issue, or it was an asbestos roof, or we're not going to pay for an asbestos roof. Well, you know what? You insured the property with an asbestos roof. You came out and did an inspection after you wrote the coverage, and you bound the coverage, and you continue to write the policy and take my premium for all these years. So you better pay for it. Anyway, I just, it's very interesting, but I think it's going to help them move some more of these claims to conclusion. And now the problem is for a lot of them, and I'm hearing this from a number of my clients, that they're saying, hey, look, I'm up for renewal.
Yeah.
If they don't want to renew me, they don't want to renew me because I got a pending claim. Well, I got a pending claim because you won't pay me. So it's one of these things that,
Well, it's interesting. Before we go to break, we had insurance company say they didn't want to renew because they needed to fix their roof due to hurricane damages, but they only paid for a patch. So
right,
those kind of situations.
Right.
So there you go.
Yep.
All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL is your home for LSU baseball. Today, the Tigers host the Georgia Bulldogs at home in the Bucks. Pre-game at 12:30. First pitch at 1 on WWL AMFM.com and the Odyssey app.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Freshly. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required.
But your distributors have any idea what they distribute?
What can I do? Go to
That's the last one.
Our
in the break.
nutritionist-approved meals are prepared by skilled chefs and delivered to you fresh every week. I don't have time to prep and cook. Freshly's meals are already cooked. Just put them in the microwave for 3 minutes and you've got a hot, gourmet, delicious, nutritious meal. And now, get $125 off your first 5 orders when you text BITE to 64,000. With Freshly, there's no worry about grocery shopping, ingredient checking, or hours spent prepping and cooking. Savor Freshly's variety, from comfort food classics that are carb-smart and gluten-free to dairy-free options, plant-based meals, and more. And you can adjust meals and deliveries based on your schedule. A healthy, delicious meal in 3 minutes? I have time for that. That's Freshly.
And now get $125 off your first 5 orders when you text BITE to 64,000. That's BITE to 64,000. That's BITE to 64,000.
Her words weren't written under peaceful shade, but under fear for her life.
I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains.
The words of Anne Frank continue to fill us with hope. Hope. Pass it on from passiton.com.
Miller Lite is the light beer brewed for people who love the taste of beer. It's a 96-calorie, 3.2 carb love letter to beer lovers. Miller Lite. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2022 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin beer.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct different, you have to know our history. It goes back 70 years to a renowned diamond cutter overseas. From there came years of diamond cutting, manufacturing, and wholesaling, supplying exquisite fine diamonds to top high-end jewelers. Eventually, those same wholesalers began selling direct to you, and that started a revolution. Today, we are a global diamond powerhouse with hundreds of thousands of customers and an impeccable reputation. But our core values remain the same as always. Our diamonds are the highest quality cut by the best craftsmen. Our prices are the most compelling. Our selection is staggering. And our warranties and guarantees are unbeatable. And our entire team's only goal is to help you find the diamond of your dreams. So as the story unfolds and the revolution continues, we invite you into our home to enjoy a jewelry shopping experience unlike any other. Born in craftsmanship, rooted in quality, and thriving in passion. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Online at diamondsdirect.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 8888 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 8888. Enjoy.
When it comes to investing in your home's comfort, it's never just one thing. You want to make sure you get
we're going live after this one.
that's reliable, affordable, energy efficient, backed by a strong warranty, and is installed by a dealer you can trust. That's why people who insist on the best choose Trane. Plus, right now, Trane is offering consumer rebates of up to $600 on qualifying systems. So what's not to love? Visit TraneSouth.com for details or to find a local Trane comfort specialist today. It's hard to stop a Trane.
All things legal on WWL, AMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We got a text saying that if you want to know why, one of the reasons Chris Olave was drafted in the first round and he was traded up for, look at Michael Thomas's Twitter account. Apparently he was apparently pushing for him. So Ohio State. The
Ohio State guy.
Ohio State connection, and probably if he gets another wide receiver, make his job he'll be a lot more effective. So I didn't know. I might start reading Twitter again. I've been sort of off of it a little bit. Now it appears that there might be free speech on Twitter now from here on out.
Right.
To the dismay of some.
Yeah, that all sides might be represented.
Yeah.
Well.
Well,
we have new Department of Disinformation now with our government. All of a sudden, they're going to determine what disinformation is. It's very interesting.
Yeah, well, I think that's appropriate because they're never wrong about anything, and they're always right.
Yeah, they've done a great job this last couple of years.
I'm wondering if Twitter is going to move from the People's Republic of California to maybe like Texas or Florida. That would be the next move if you want free speech. So
next logical step.
Louisiana should be getting companies like that. I mean, we're in the South. We got a great cultural economy. We're sort of, well, I will say this: economic growth has not been a priority the last 7 years, and in the 8 years before that, it was just lip service. So, hopefully, we're going to have a new election cycle. If Louisiana has everything it needs for economic growth. It's got culture, it's got weather, it's got it's just a great place to live. It's got hunting, it's got fishing, it's a sportsman's paradise. The only thing we don't have is mountains. And
the problem I think with a lot of it, and a lot of reasons that people don't want to relocate here, is because we grew up in the parochial school system, and it's a popular thing, at least in New Orleans. And But in other places, so many people rely on the public school system. The thought of having to pay for education for the middle class in other states is somewhat foreign. And the problem we have is a lot of our schools are failing. And you know, sometimes it's a question of resources. Sometimes it's a question of, you know, the ability of the administration and the teachers to be able to teach and you know, in exact discipline on students. And I've heard some just horrible stories about, you know, how you can't correct the student. You got to go through this chain, and finally the principal gets there, and then they have to bring the security guard over to, you know, to go ahead and finally remove the kid from the class, because you can't touch him, you can't do anything, you can't. But meanwhile, you know, this kid can disrupt anybody and everybody in the whole learning process. And then they get sent to this detention hall for a day, and they come back and do it all over again. And it's just the level of disrespect and all those things, they need to be fixed on an internal level, and they need to allow administrators and teachers that authority over these kids, because, you know, some lawyers have gotten involved and have tied their hands. And now, you know, I'll never forget, I saw on a show, and that's not just in Louisiana, that's everywhere. But there was, on one of these programs, there was this girl wouldn't get out of her desk. And so, you know, and she was making a ruckus, and they asked her to leave. That somebody had their camera phone, they brought him in, and the security guard finally takes it and is going to slide the desk out. Well, the girl like flips and falls on the ground. And so they grab her, and she's kicking and fighting. They brought her. Well, he gets fired. So what is the school? What is anyone supposed to do? But, you know, remove this child from the classroom, so the rest of the kids who are doing the right thing, who are behaving themselves, who are trying to learn, what else can we do so these kids can learn and we can remove this problem? But instead, the focus was on, you know, you shouldn't have pulled her out of the classroom. Well, then what? What do you do? Give me the answer. You know, spend 2 hours counseling her while the rest of the kids don't get the lesson for that day. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But
well,
anyway,
the other misconception is that one of the high school we sent 4 of our kids to, they spend 2/3 less money per student than they do for public school students in a great education.
Right.
So, you know, part of the money is spent in public education. It's a money pit. But all right, well, we'll deviate out of that. But, you know, I guess Louisiana Louisiana's got such great potential, but it's never been governed properly. I mean, the city of New Orleans is a train wreck. I mean, I say, Mayor, get out from under your desk and deal with things. Okay, don't deal with the things that don't matter, which you're good at. Deal with the things that do matter. All right, let's. I guess we're still talking a lot about you know, hurricane claims. Albert, why don't you sort of explain? Probably 99.9% of the claims that go to litigation are going to be resolved at mediation. Can you explain what someone who is in litigation or an insurance company ask for a mediation, what they could expect in that process?
So just to clear up, people often get confused the mediation process and the arbitration process. The arbitration process is not required, first of all, in insurance policies, and neither is a mediation process. But the arbitration process, that arbitrator is selected by the parties and paid pretty handsomely. It's an expensive process, and then they come to a conclusion, and that's final. I mean, you know, there's some ways to appeal it, but the courts are very reluctant to do that. The U.S. Supreme Court said that arbitration is favored. We want to clear up our court systems. So once you go to that arbitration, it's supposed to be a faster track, but I find that sometimes it's not. And you don't necessarily have to have a lawyer that is your arbitrator. It can be a general contractor or someone, a construction expert or an engineer or anything. Anyone can be an arbitrator in the state of Louisiana. But that process is not what we're talking about. Now, on the mediation side, Basically, what the goal of a mediator is to have the case resolved. So typically the process starts where everyone meets in one room. We go over the process. They sign this. Everybody signs this confidentiality document, right? Because we want people to be able to speak freely and openly in what they say and whatever. So anything that's said in that mediation is to be considered, confidential and cannot be used later in court. So once that's done, the parties break up into two separate rooms, and the mediator basically goes to one of the parties and says, look, here's what's wrong with your case. I think you should pay more. And then they come back into your room and they say, listen, here's what's wrong with your case. I think you should take less. What if
we'll go break after this?
The jury decides this. And they try to whittle down the claim and bring the parties closer and closer together. The mantra is, if everybody walks away a little bit disappointed, it was a great settlement. If somebody walks away just thrilled and happy, it probably wasn't a good settlement. It was probably more in their favor. So if everybody walks away a little bit disappointed, the mediator did their job. So, but that's the process in a nutshell. And sometimes, Doug, back when we had so many of them for Katrina, we would just get authority from the clients in terms of the number that they would want to get it resolved. And then we would sit down with an adjuster, not even a formal mediation. Right, that's what we did. Yeah. And the adjuster would come in, bring a number of files, and sit down and say, okay, what about this one? Here's the problem with this, and this is what your people did, and here's the paperwork to show it. Yeah, but you know what? They went and fixed this, and this isn't, they fixed it for less, and so that's all we have to pay is what they paid to fix it. And then, you kind of go back and forth with that and come up with a number. And the vast majority of those cases that we had settled that way. And, and the clients were happy. I mean, they were happy with what we were able to resolve it for. Some of them, again, hey, look, we've got closure. It's not exactly what you want, but we're getting you your money now. You can get your home back in order. You can move on with your life. Perhaps if we go to trial, you could get more, but it might be another 6 to 8 months down the road, a year down the road. The appeal process, who knows what's going to happen? You're buying out a lot of risk, all of those things. And so, it's not that we're reluctant to or afraid to go to court. It's just you're making a decision for yourself, for your property, for your family. And, here's what we can afford or what we can't afford. We're going to move forward and get it done.
All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Jazz Fest is back, and WWL wants to send you there. Courtesy of Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. It's Miller time. See Stevie Nicks, the Black Crowes, Melissa Etheridge, Willie Nelson, Jimmy Buffett, Trombone Shorty, and more. Winning is easy. Go to WWL.com/contest and enter for your chance to win. But you gotta do it by midnight tonight. Win 2 free tickets to Jazz Fest, presented by Shell. Good luck and happy festing from WWL.
Hey folks, Bobby Hebert, Cajun Cannon here. One of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, and you can only find them on FanDuel.
I got Jim from Past Christian wants to address chaos in the schools.
Same Game Parlay. Check out their popular Same Game Parlay section where you can join the bets other users are jumping on. Earlier this season, over 14,000 customers won a total of $1.1 million during the Bucks and Lakers game. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with the promo code HEBERT. That's HEBERT to get $150 inside credit guaranteed when you place a bet of $5.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
This is Kevin Mamahat. For over 20 years, we've coated thousands of homes and businesses just like yours with Rhino Shield. From Mobile to Lake Charles and every point in between. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic coating that comes with a 25-year warranty, and it's perfect for wood, brick, stucco, hardy board, and vinyl. Give us a call for a free estimate. 504-407-2222, 407-2222, or visit rhinoshieldmidsouth.com. Listen, here's the bottom line with Rhino Shield. You'll never have to paint your home or business again. Guaranteed. Rhino Shield is formulated for the Gulf Coast climate. It resists mold and fading, and it's more affordable than you think. So call now for your free estimate. 504-407-2222, 407-2222, or visit rhinoshieldmidsouth.com. That's
okay. We'll have the timeshares, and then we'll be streaking, and we'll go live.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. I trust J&J to protect my home and family.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 50 years. We shield your home from termites, roaches, ants, mosquitoes, and other pests. J&J Exterminating is Louisiana's largest independently owned pest control company. We know what works in Louisiana's climate. Get the shield.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Ramsey's gives you every
Who do we have
possible
on?
choice.
All the choices. Earth diamonds, created diamonds, big anniversary
Jim.
diamonds, and every style of engagement ring that has ever been designed.
It's the largest diamond store in Louisiana
But don't be worried that you're going to be overwhelmed by too many choices.
because it's never hard to choose.
When you see your diamond,
You'll know it's your diamond.
trust your eyes, trust your heart.
Come to Ramsey's and let us introduce you to the wonderful,
exciting,
magical world of diamonds.
Ramsey's Diamond Jewelers on Veterans between Bonneville and West End in Metairie.
Community coffee is more than a flavor. It's a centuries-old culture, an obsession fueled with family traditions and rituals that we hope will continue to support those who make our communities thrive. Community Coffee. Find us at your local grocery or visit us at communitycoffee.com.
Protect what matters most with ABC Fire and Burglar Alarm. Security systems, monitoring, automation, and cameras for your home or business. Stay secure and connected at an affordable price. Call ABC today, 889-9795.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshares. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, well, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sounds crazy, right? Well, the crazy thing is, this never ends. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare, you'll pay nothing.
Were you lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? Get the facts about timeshare cancellation. Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
I'm Matt Spiegel, and I'm the host of the brand new podcast, Beat the Streak Daily. Every weekday this Major League season will update the state of Beat the Streak. The rules are simple. Each day, pick one or two players you think will get a hit. And if they do, your streak continues. Sounds doable, right? But so far, it's been impossible to win. And with millions of dollars on the line, no one has ever gotten to 56. Subscribe now to Beat the Streak Daily, wherever you get your podcasts, and play Beat the Streak for your chance to win $5.6 million.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinion shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. Let's go to phone line. Let's go to Jim. He's got a comment regarding chaos in the school system. Hey, Jim, what you got for us, brother?
Mighty good morning to you.
Good morning.
Are you there?
I'm here. What you got for us,
okay.
Jim?
I don't know if it's possible, but if the teachers are all sworn in as reserve law enforcement officers, then if one of them is attacked like the teachers are being, there would be a more of a repercussions for the students.
Well, I mean,
and you wouldn't want them wearing badges as such. What you'd want is you'd put out the word, look, in this school we have 50 reserve officers teaching. They'd never know unless the teacher told them who the reserve officers are. And they get in there shining, and they strike law enforcement officers, then it's not going to be up to the school. Then it's going to be up to the court system to handle them.
You do make a good point of, and I'll play off this. There is enhanced penalties for striking police officers. I think I remember back, and I don't know, we're not criminal lawyers, but I used to remember there used to be
at one time I know there used to be.
There used to be a 15-day mandatory jail sentence for anybody who assaulted a police officer. I don't know where where the laws are on that.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
But that would be
and
something.
Another thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you go ahead.
And another thing, they know most of these students are carrying iPhones and such to school, and they have to keep them in their backpack and whatnot out of sight. Well, let's go the other way. Let's utilize them phones with the cameras on them and say, okay, from now on, everybody that has a camera, you set it out on your desk. You have to put it on mute. But if somebody starts a chaos in there, then everybody, I want you to take your camera and turn around and film this. One more thing I would suggest is when a student is misbehaving and the teacher and the school seems like they're unable to control them, make their parents come up there and sit for a day in class with them.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. A lot of them don't have parents who care for them. But I think what you're doing is I definitely what you're saying is there needs to be consequences for bad behavior.
Right.
And that's what and what's going on right now is the victims are the perpetrators.
Yeah, the fox is running the hen house.
Yeah, the victims are the perpetrators and not the victims.
Yeah, there's very little that the school system is allowed to do to them. I mean, doggone, there's no way in the world I'd ever consider being a teacher.
Right.
Not with what they have to put up with these days.
Well, and also too, that's why homeschooling is taking off, because people are like saying we don't want to subject our kids to the values of a lot of the public school systems. A lot of public school systems are teaching things, social issues,
right?
Besides reading, arithmetic and history. They don't teach history, and so
that's a very bad thing.
And I think also too, we have a debate in the country: is who is going to impart values on our children? Or is it going to be bureaucrats and teachers, or is it going to be parents? And I think presently there's a movement to say that parents' rights should be diminished in favor of know-it-all bureaucrats and teachers who should impart their values, especially in issues regarding very personal issues such as sexuality.
Right.
And
their personal values is weird.
So that debate is going on. That debate will be part of the upcoming election. And I just tell people, vote. If you have values that you think teachers should should talk to your children about sex from K to third grade, and that parents should have less say so about their children's education.
They're doing good to learn to write their name.
Vote for the candidate who stands for that. If you believe, but if you vote, someone who says parental rights is paramount to the school system, vote for that candidate. But that's a debate today. Now it's unbelievable that you have to have this debate right now, but it is. And so
and we got so many of the politicians who want to just run around the bush. They don't want to knock it over. Right. When they're out there politicking, they don't want to let you know where they stand and what they're going to push for.
Well,
and
I think I've seen something.
Then when they do say I'm against this, I'm against that, when they get in office, hell, you never hear nothing from them.
Well, I think it is very positive that we're having a lot of activism in the school system that we didn't have the last 2 years prior to that, because a lot of people were home and watching some of the garbage that their children were being taught.
Right.
And your teacher's personal life and who they
what you do on your off hours
they hook up with has nothing to do with what their children are seeing. And the kids don't need. I didn't know when I was in school whether my teacher was married, had kids, or anything. I mean, they just taught
and didn't care and didn't care.
So
yeah, as long as they didn't whip me today, I was doing good.
No, well,
right.
I mean, you could go the other way also. But basically, we got elections coming up, and so find out what your candidate stands for, and then vote accordingly, because it's ultimately on us, because we're the ones who put these people in places that install these people who undermine our values. But thanks for the call.
Yeah, and the bad thing about our school board too is you never hear much about their elections.
Well, that's
what they
activism.
stand for, what they don't.
We got, people got to get out there and who feel strongly about it and get on the board and serve, serve.
Yeah. Well, thank God my children are grown, but I'm worried now about my grandchildren, what they're in for.
Well, then get involved with their school board.
I appreciate you taking my call.
Thanks for the call. Let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. We're going to come back. We'll close up with Christian Garrick. He's going to give us a preview and his draft recap on all things legal. So we'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Celebrate life's special moments. Make them unforgettable. Days to remember and treasure forever. With a gift from Oakland Heart's Spring Sale. Now through Saturday, May 7th, save 20 to 50% throughout the store. This is Oakland Heart's biggest sales event of the year. Discover that perfect gift for Mother's Day, anniversaries, graduations, birthdays, or just because. Shop our vast selection of diamond stud earrings, bracelets, rings, necklaces, and more. And save 20 to 50%. Choose from the world's top designers or shop exclusive designs handcrafted by
Okay, Christian, be ready to go with you.
Good.
Find something for that special someone or reward yourself. Certain product lines excluded.
Looks like you're going to have about 5 minutes, maybe just a shade more than that.
We're passionate about helping you celebrate life's special moments. For finer quality at 20 to 50% off, shop Oakland Heart Jewelers Spring Sale. Now through Saturday, May 7th. Oakland Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road.
When you own a small business, sometimes you need funds fast. So go to OnDeck, America's largest online small business lender with over $14 billion funded. OnDeck makes it easy to apply in minutes and, if approved, get your loan as soon as the same day so you can get back to business. Go to OnDeck.com. Your loan is on deck. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank, a Utah Chartered Industrial Bank member FDIC. Limited eligibility for same-day funding. OnDeck does not lend in every state. All loans subject to lender approval.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
Hi, this is Jackie from Earth Savers, and we know how to take care of moms. Whether it's a stress-melting massage, a restoring facial, or a gift card for any dollar amount, she'll be pampered from the moment she arrives. Refreshing spa water, relaxing music, and custom aromatherapy set the tone for the perfect spa day. At Earth Savers, we take spa services to a whole new level. Pamper Mom with an Earth Savers gift card. Earth Savers, Uptown, Lakeside, Mandeville, and earthsaversonline.com.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 121-12674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Call 475-2323.
Hey, Slidell, we want your stuff. Dependable storage coming soon.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel. Me llamo Sean.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Some people bring joy wherever they go. Some whenever they go. Mark Twain found humor all around. Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. Humor. Pass it on from PassItOn.com.
All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, Weekend Warriors, All Things Legal. We got Christian back at the studio to preview his draft recap show. Hey, Christian, how are you doing, man?
Fellas, how are you? I'm good. Just getting done with the draft, but me, Jeff Nowak, and Steve Geller are going to recap the draft here coming up at 10 o'clock.
Okay, Christian. I won't call you during the show because I get to ask you a question now.
Okay.
It looks like the Saints are in a mindset that the future is now, and they're willing to mortgage the future to try to win this year. What is your thoughts?
Well, a couple things. Their defense is a championship defense. They have a championship caliber defense. So I can understand the urge and the need to want to play in the win now kind of mode. However, I think they're also hedging their bets. And what I mean by that is that future first round draft pick they sent to Philadelphia, they feel like, I think quietly, they wouldn't admit to this, but I think they feel like Sean Payton's going to be back in the league by then, and they're going to get a pick back, potentially a number 1 pick.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you about a couple of the Saints undrafted free agents.
Smoke Monday.
That's what I was going to get at. Smoke Monday. He was rated as high as a 3rd round pick. Tell us a little bit about Smoke.
Yeah, safety at Auburn. He's been celebrated amongst the undrafted guys through the fans. I mean, the fans are eating this guy up. First off, he's got a great name, Smoke Monday. His Twitter handle is what? What's his? At Before Tuesday. That's his Twitter handle.
Instagram, right?
Instagram. I'm sorry, Steve tells me. But look, he was highly rated. I mean, he was rated as a 3rd round draft pick, and who knows? Some of these things that happen to these kids that cause them to slide a little bit in the draft or go undrafted. It could have been a medical they didn't like. It could have been something in his past that teams shied away from, because he can certainly play. He's a really good player. And for the Saints to get him as an undrafted free agent, I think that's one that you look at right away and say he has a chance to make this team.
What did the Saints see in Olave that they didn't?
Olave
that separated him from the other wide receivers.
If you look at his production, I think he had over 70 touchdown receptions in his career. 30 of them were 30 yards or more. I mean, he's a big play guy, and he's a guy that can stretch the field a little bit, and they didn't have that last year. And Mike Thomas is not that guy either. He's a volume reception kind of receiver, and Olave is he's gonna take the top off the defense. He can run.
What do you have? Okay, tell me who, based on undrafted free agents and the draft, who is a sleeper in the sense that you think has the opportunity to perform higher than the expectations based on their status as an undrafted free agent or based on their place in the draft?
Well, I think we already talked about him. It's Smoke Monday. And on top of that, look, if you go look around the league, 40% of NFL rosters are undrafted players.
Right.
Undrafted. And then if you look at the Super Bowl, each team combined in the Super Bowl every year, over 50% of the players in the Super Bowl are undrafted players. So it shows you how important. Look, the first round's important. I get it, and that's a big investment. But really, rounds 4 through 7 in the undrafted is where you stack your team, is where you find depth, and is where you find players that were under the radar, and you build your team. I feel like your true core of your team is built rounds 4 through 7 and undrafted.
I think Albert, you got something? Oh, one of the
No. Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, and the Saints, honestly, in the last 7-8 years, they've been masters at that. I mean, and taking players and getting the most out of them. And again, I know I've talked to Doug about this. I'm not a big fan of the Michael Thomas deal. I was never in favor of it. It's just too much money for one wide receiver. And it seems to be panning out that way. But hopefully he'll get his head back in the game and want to come play for the Saints, and hopefully picking up Olave from from Ohio State will give him a little motivation to, maybe be a leader, maybe be an influence and a mentor for this
Open
kid.
things up to him. One other thing, Christian, I want to talk about is the fact when the Saints did draft away their picks, they actually have more money to sign undrafted free agents with guaranteed money, because a lot of times undrafted free agents base their decision based on guaranteed money.
And rosters, they look at your roster. Where do I have a chance to make this team?
Right. And so the fact that the Saints did trade away a lot of their picks, they have more money for their undrafted free agents to compete to get the ones they want.
Yeah, that's why I think they did well in the undrafted free agency haul, if you will. But we'll have the next 2.5 hours. We'll discuss it.
All right. Stay tuned for Christian Garrick and the crew for the draft recap. I'll be listening, and I'll be listening to LSU and Georgia. Pregame 12:30, 1 o'clock first pitch. Albert, you got anything before we leave?
No, just everybody have a great week.
Have a great week, and stay tuned for the draft recap with Christian and the crew. And we'll be back next week on All Things Legal. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you then.